Today I'm interviewing Melbourne-based Asian Australian director and filmmaker Beng Oh. Beng, welcome to the program.
Hello, Anthony. I'm sorry to correct you straight out of the box. I'm not a filmmaker, I'm a theatre maker.
So tell us about how you got involved in theatre and particularly here in Melbourne.
It came through bad company. I did law at Monash University, and I think it was through student theatre that I first fell into directing. And over the course of time, I found myself at the Victorian College of the Arts, where I did theatre directing as a postgraduate course. And since then, I've been busy with a lot of the independent companies around Melbourne. And yeah, the rest is history, as they say.
And so specifically in directing?
Yes, and specifically in stage direction. While I have a lot of admiration for movies, it's a totally different craft.
Okay, so acting never grabbed you?
I did a little bit of acting, but the minute I got into the VCA, I decided I want to be really good at one thing, and that thing was directing. And it's been, yeah, I've enjoyed it as what I do.
And Beng, was this something that you had set out to do from the beginning? Did you know that this is where you wanted to end up?
Not directly. I did finish that law degree after all, and I did spend a little bit of time as a solicitor, but with the support of my partner, now husband, I gave that up.
Well, and congratulations for being married after marriage equality here in Melbourne.
Look, thank you very much. The minute the laws were changed, we took the opportunity and got married last year.
Right. Well. So tell us a little bit about your Melbourne work. Like you've been involved in some different theatre companies here in Melbourne?
Yes, I have my own ongoing collaboration with playwright Jane Miller, and together we call our company 15 Minutes From Anywhere. And I've been working with Jane very closely for about 8 years now, I would say, and we produce a lot of new Australian work. Jane writes, I direct, and it's been really good. We have a small circle of actors that we tend to work a lot with. Apart from that, I also freelance. I have worked with Federation University and their drama students over there, directing 30 of them at a time. And I'm also on the board of the Committee of Management for La Mama Theatre here in Melbourne.
Right, all very a well-known theatre company and very much loved by the LGBTI community. I know lots of people who go there. Tell us about how does your sexual orientation, being a gay man and an Asian gay man, how has that shaped the way that you direct or the sort of plays that you're involved with?
I think the biggest impact has been in the choice of material. And in a way, I came out as gay first before I came out as Asian.
Okay.
It's a long, complex story, but I think...
So you're an out Asian man now?
I most certainly am. I've embraced it, which is why I describe myself as an Asian Australian director. Being a person of colour, there's this pressure that you feel that people want you to tell your stories, or stories specific to what it is to be gay and Asian, say. And when I was younger, I actively resisted that. I wasn't comfortable with the label. I wanted to be a director first and Asian second. With the wisdom and passage of time, I've realized that, you know, there's a body of work out there that if you don't tell these stories, if you don't put on that play, if you don't pick up the ball and run with it, nobody else is going to.
Right, that's interesting, because your identity as an Asian person as opposed to a director, there was some tensions around, you know, what you wanted people to notice about you.
That's right. But the funny thing is, in a way, I only began to make sense to people when I embraced my identity as an Asian director. Before then, I think, yes, there was some confusion, sad to say. And one of my early works, which actually resonated a lot, was a piece called Porcelain by an expatriate Singaporean writer, Che Yu, who now lives and works in the US. It's a beautiful piece about a young Asian man who shoots his white boyfriend in a toilet block.
Okay, sounds very dramatic.
Beautifully written for 5 actors, and we had a brilliant run with that. So I guess that was a good example of some work I did some years back, which encompassed kind of the gay side as well as the Asian side.
And so your decision making around which plays, which scripts that you'll grab onto and read and then go on to turn into an onstage production, Has there been specific things about those plays that speak to who you are in the world?
Nowadays, I tend to pursue projects which resonate for me. So there's no direct science behind it. Sometimes you read a script and you put it down and you're still thinking about it and you come back to it. And when that happens to me with a piece of writing, that I know deep down inside, yes, it's resonating for whatever reason, and yes, I want to direct that. It can have some unusual outcomes. I directed the Australian premiere of George Tabori's play, Mein Kampf, which is actually a comedy, but it's a ferocious piece he wrote dealing with his background as a Jewish man and the loss of his family in the Holocaust, and it's his artistic biography. So he wrote this dazzling farce around a young Hitler trying to make his way into art school who meets an old Jewish guy. Right. And yeah, and it doesn't sound funny, but it really is. But that was a good example of a piece that I read it, I thought, I have no idea what to do with this play, but eventually we found a way through it.
Okay, so not being able to put the script down, being that engaged with it, and then trying to find a way to imagine it on stage is what you're sort of
That's one way in.
Right.
The other way in is sometimes you find something which is so amazing that the idea of putting it on sticks with you for a long time. And that is how I also came to direct a piece called The Yellow Wave, a romance of the Asiatic invasion of Australia. Right. I found Kenneth Mackay's 19th century piece of invasion fiction. Major General Kenneth Mackay was a New South Wales parliamentarian, and at the end of the 19th century, when everyone was worried that the yellow people would come and invade your country, rape your women, and steal your lands, he wrote this sea-great novel, really, about Australia being invaded by the Mongols via Queensland.
Right.
They were going to, with the help of the Russians, they were going to arrive at Point Parker.
That would make Pauline Hanson a bit anxious coming to Queensland.
She was way ahead of her time. She either that or she had read the book.
Right, right. So there seems to be a very, I mean, there are themes of politics and identity and all sorts of things that come out in your plays. Can I ask, is there a particular message that you want to convey in the sorts of plays that you choose and support? Is there something in particular that that speak to you that you're trying to sort of communicate to the audience?
It's a tricky one because I don't write the plays myself. Well, I help develop them, so that's not entirely accurate either.
Because you would read the script,
yes,
and then you interpret it or have an experience of it based on your own filters, and then you have to work with the cast and people who choose the cast and other writers perhaps for you to sort of try and put this together, and I'm wondering about that process and how that sort of happens.
I think there's more that happens by sense and research. I feel that when I make theatre, that's my contribution to the ongoing conversation about life, to steal someone else's definition of art. And so they're not things that I do lightly. But it's this funny thing of, you want to work on a project, and it's only through grappling with it, it's only through rehearsing the play with actors, that sometimes I can fully understand what it is that the actual script is saying.
Right.
And I guess ultimately the work is very personal because it's filtered through my understanding of the text.
Right, and that's what I was
actors.
trying to say, that it feels quite like a personal process as well. What's your relationship like with actors?
I love them. I think it's really important as a director that you like actors. If you don't like actors, you probably should stop directing. But it's this important thing that actors need a director. They don't need a friend. And I suppose I'm always careful to preserve that side of the relationship.
Well, it sounds great, and we like you as a director, Beng. We like you especially because you've come on to talk to us, to teach us a little bit about directing and your story. So thanks so much for coming onto the show.
My pleasure. Thank you very much, Anthony.
And thanks for watching. I'm Anthony Lekkas.